Because who doesn't want to see two enormous, excellently rendered kaiju rip each other to shreds? A 100-foot gorilla versus an armored fusion of Yi, Chi, and Gigantosaurus sounds like a good choice for a fight. Thanks to Thunderwolf Wyvern for suggesting it and giving me an excuse to talk about Kong Skull Island, which I have to say is one of the best monster movies ever. It's on par with the first Jurassic Park, and considerably better than 2013's Pacific Rim. Relatable and consistent characters, brilliant monster design, rich color scheme, and special effects at least as good as Jurassic World. Definitely worth the DVD. Okay, product placement rant over. And no, I was not paid $10 million in advertising fees by Legendary. They paid me $20 million, and the right to cameo in any of their movies I want, so watch out for Jurassic World 3, Aladar's Revenge. Now I'm really done. I've already introduced Monster Hunter and Devil Joe vs. Indominus, so the gaming franchise involving increasingly more dangerous and gigantic kaiju should be passingly familiar to most of you. Tigrex, as can be seen in this kanji-coded promotional size-up, is around medium size for a Monster Hunter creature, about 60 feet long in this picture, but closer to 70 when stretched out and including the tip of the tail. It's clear that Kong, as presented in his movie, is far more massive as well as taller, so I'm using Zenith Tigrex, a larger and more powerful version, to even things out. Based on this picture, it's around 15% larger than a regular morph, giving approximate measurements of 80 feet long, 25 feet tall, and about 30 tons. That's still lightweight compared to Kong, who stands 104 feet tall and weighs 158 tons. But you can see that although Tigrex is very lightly built, in comparison to Kong's insanely dense body, their volumes are broadly similar. That results in a coyote versus person type of battle, where the person has super strength and fangs, and the coyote is covered in armor, can fly, and blast stunning sound wave from its mouth. A Zenith Tigrex also possesses iron-hard razor spikes on the tips of its wings, as well as its claws and tail, and its forearms can strike the ground with enough force to create shockwaves. The beasts are agile on the ground and in the air. Think of flying Utah raptor crossed with a lion. It seems to at least rival the skullcrawlers in its damage capabilities, creatures that gave Kong a hard time, but is more versatile and much harder to hit. It also increases its strength in response to blood and will single-mindedly attack the injured opponent. Based on what we saw of Kong's durability in Skull Island, that blood rage wouldn't be tremendously difficult to trigger. Although his skin is thick and leathery enough to ignore bullets, he was injured from adolescent skullcrawler bites and nearly knocked unconscious by a gasoline bomb. But one of Kong's strongest advantages against a more agile enemy like Tigrex is his ability to keep fighting even when seriously injured. His arm gets bitten, he keeps fighting. He gets trapped in a gigantic mess of chains, he keeps fighting. A giant squid wraps flesh-ripping tentacles around him, and he eats them. His entire body gets lit on fire, and he gets up to fight the 100-ton reptilian murder beast that killed both his parents. Kong is a tank, who can also deal out damage of his own. One punch utilizes 150 tons of crushing force, and a bite from his massive jaws wouldn't exactly be pretty. And don't forget that he possesses human intelligence and combat skill. He did wield that propeller and chain as well as any martial artist. But he couldn't hit Tigrex, you may be thinking. It wouldn't be as easy as punching a skullcrawler, that's for sure. But recall how Kong kept up with multiple speeding helicopters and calculated to a T their trajectories. If he could nail a human pilot with a tree from 1,000 feet away, then it would only be a matter of time before the Zenith Tigrex got swatted.